What is going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the Ford Podcast, the Ford Brothers, the whatever you want to call us. We are the Ford.
Yes, sir.
Today we're going to have a nice music conversation on a touchy subject that's been shaking the Twitter sphere, if you will. And that is hip-hop losing its allure? Is it dying, per se?
Oh, gas.
And I think this would be a great conversation for me and my brothers too. So before we get into that, it is your boy Adam, aka SS Jordan on Twitter. If you ain't follow me, you better start. Anyway,
you go by the Heminator.
Hey, I might.
Heminator. That's actually good. That's a good one.
I'll say I might.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Why every time I say something, you don't like what I say, but you say corny, cringy shit all the
like
time.
you
Now I gotta add it in the bio.
That's
Heminator.
my personality.
Oh, you're Heminator.
Also, you're the only one that gets to say ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, that's me. That's what we. Okay, anywho, it's your boy DJ ASAP Jubilant in the cut like hip hop's charts since this rap word started, which we will cover in a little minute.
It is your boy TJ. I also go by Sir Him a lot. I just decided that today, so I'm just letting y'all know.
Not Tim, it's him.
I'm just trolling, but it's your boy TJ. I go by TJ with the shots, and my guy's not a real DJ.
I'm not a real DJ, but it sound cool though.
And last and not least, I am Jacoby, aka your friendly neighborhood Snorlax. Always got to keep a pokey flute on me. And yeah, we back with another one.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So I think all of this discussion started mainly because of how the results of the hip hop war, the great battle that we have talked about many a times.
The rap civil war.
But it's so relevant. It's so relevant.
We're in
so if you all haven't seen, Kendrick Lamar and Drake had a beef, ending with Not Like Us, which kind of set Drake in a weird spot with the media because Drake has never been seen as the underdog in any situation ever, or a loser.
Yeah.
So that kind of... But, the industry didn't really see him as a loser because he's much bigger than Pusha T. Exactly. But, someone on his level fought with him and he came out as the loser. So what this has been doing to the industry, people were kind of saying that Kendrick maybe killed rap because he took the fun out of it and this and that. So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, real quick, before we start delving into it, I think the better word here is this is the first time that we've seen Drake this impacted from a rap war beef.
Yeah.
That's the best way. I think that's the best way to describe it.
He's definitely
because this is
by
the
that,
first
for
time
sure.
we've seen a rap beef that really affected the gross of his sales if he dropped a project, or even just him going about the normal release drop that he does for dropping music. He's changed his algorithm. So I think the better word there is impacted. But I wouldn't necessarily say hip hop is dying per se. I think hip hop is just in this space where after the rap war beef, because I think a lot of people were starting to get a realization that of just how the music industry moves in terms of it's going to always want to make money, so it always moves in the best fashion for them to make the most amount of money as possible using the least amount of resources. And I think people are getting ready to notice, or starting to be aware of that, or waking up to that fact. So I think that coupled with the rap war beef and just kind of the lack of originality in the past couple of years, even before, the rap beef is the main impactor, but even before that, just kind of there's not much uniqueness to hip-hop anymore in terms of when you look at new up-and-coming artists. Because a lot of the new and up-and-coming artists that we have been seeing in the last 4 or 5 years kind of have a similar gimmick or a similar niche to previous artists that we've seen, whether you have your Uzi Cardi clones, whether you have your Travis clones, your Drake-alikes, whatever you want to call it. It's just there's always some combination, there's always some familiarity there. So I think that coupled with the rap war beef and just the changing of the old guard into the new guard, I think that has caused hip hop to be in kind of a suspended animation state. I won't say dead, kind of in limbo, where you can make the most of it if you want to, but if you don't want to, then you don't have to.
I like that. I definitely like that a lot. I was going to say that one, we have to acknowledge that those were two titans that were really going up against each other.
Yeah.
Nobody really thought
big
it was
three
going to come to a head, right? So yeah, genuinely the only person that could have gone over, or that, which I was going to say, the only other person outside of Kendrick that probably could have had that same impact with Drake is Cole. But there was something before you guys started that I wanted to touch on, and of course now my mind's gone blank because I was intently listening. No, it's okay. Adam, what was your original question? How do we feel?
Just how do y'all feel about the perspective on the industry being in its state it's in? Like, how do y'all feel about that? Like, do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree?
Okay, because the thing that I'm thinking of right now, like hip hop is ever evolving, right? It's a continuous different thing. We also have to acknowledge that sometimes there is a difference between hip hop. There's a difference between rap, right?
Yeah,
so
there is.
Yeah, for sure.
That is something else that you have to genuinely keep in mind in anytime you're listening to anything, just kind of the genre of people, because now we have so many different subcultures, right? Of rap. You got the melodic rap, you got drill rap, you got what we call boom bap rap, you know, the lyrical miracle. What's the mathematics? What's the mathematics, brother? So, you know, you have to do that. But as far as like what we would consider mainstream hip hop and R&B or rap or whatever, I think it definitely is taking a bit of a downturn because, again, at some point there's going to be a maximum climax to anything and everything, right? Yes. Which obviously is the 2024 rap war. Because again, a thing that I want to emphasize to a lot of people, Kendrick and Drake wasn't the only ones beefing that year.
Yeah, it was a lot of rap beef.
Chris Brown and Quavo was beefing.
You had the various...
Ice Spice Gelato was beefing randomly, which everyone was like, okay.
You had Reason versus the East Coast rappers, the whole West Coast versus the East Coast that stemmed from that.
So it's a lot of things that you have to play and consider. So like obviously after any big battle, there's always going to be a little bit of waste on the battlefield per se, but eventually as a society, people pick themselves up and they continue to move forward. So I think we are now at this picking ourselves up and continue to move forward era because we have had a lot of drops this year, right? I think, that's what I was going to say. Rap is a sport.
Yeah.
People have to remember that as well, right? It is a genuine sport. It's going to be a lot of competition. There's going to be a lot of exercising of the minds, chess pieces, all that type of stuff, right? So I say all that to say that sometimes you might lose some, you win some. Sports may differ, it might go up, it might go down, but it's still there, and that's the most important thing. We still have it. I think this year that we're dealing with right now, especially with all these new releases and everything going on, that we are starting to get back to a point where we're like, okay, we even though the numbers aren't there, the quality is there, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like to look at it like this. So before the rap war in 2023, even a little bit of 22, there was getting to a point where the word on the street was, hip hop isn't dominating as it used to, you know, especially in that like 2018, that 2020 range. Like a lot of hip hop singles and songs were like really charting well. Fast forward, you know, it was some of those songs they were saying what was dying, no one really had nothing crazy in 2023 that like really made that much of a difference. Woo. And then the 2024 rap war happens. And now I feel like we're in a unique situation where I think people are not used to certain individuals topping the charts right now. Yeah. And things have shifted. Country's back popping on the charts again. Pop and rock is back popping on the charts again. So with that being said, I look at it as like with how certain artists were affected post-rap war, especially Drake, he's in a very interesting situation. I mean, when What Did I Miss came out last year, right? It came out last year.
24, I think.
That was 24.
It had to be late 24.
It was
very late 24.
So when that dropped, that was number 2 on the charts. I can't remember who was number 1. But at the same time, Luther was also number 1 at one point, and then it left it. But due to the Super Bowl and everything, it came back.
Shot right back up.
It shot back into to the top 10. And I seen an interesting comment where somebody was like, well, you know, when you take someone like a Drake out, or when he's not dropping as much hits as he used to, you have to rely on other guys to make these big hits. And they're like, somebody like a Kendrick doesn't drop often all the time. He drops every maybe 2 to 3 years per se, and he just keeps it pushing. Even Future, I know he's set to drop something this year, supposedly, but we haven't heard a Future project since I Never Liked You.
I think so.
Or
no,
Pluto.
We still don't trust you, both of them.
Yeah, that was
which was the start.
That's what set off.
I say that was 2 projects.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
This month. 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And I mean, but he, like you said, he's working on something now. But I think this, like you said, it put it in a weird state. And I think honestly, like the rap war kind of left the hip hop industry in like a culling game state, to where it's like, if you really want this and you really want to be an artist that can potentially top those charts, you're gonna go get it. But if you're someone who's not taking it as seriously, if you're just making this microwave music, that they've coined this term, if you're just an artist in it for the money, then you're not gonna survive what's happened since this rap thing. That's why nobody's kind of charting. That's why hip hop's not really at the top of it. But I kind of see it that way because it's like all of the people who we would probably consider trash or shitty, they fell to the wayside. And the real artists who are actually talented have been dropping a lot this year. Whether the numbers or not reflect that, I just see it that way. You look very alarmed.
No,
Jacob
I'm actually very much impressed right now because his culling game reference is actually damn near spot on.
Can you explain that to the folks that may or may not know?
Yes. So, in this, because I was going to make a similar analogy, but this works a lot better, so I can explain it. To me, how I've looked at everything is kind of like a giant machine.
Okay.
Drake was the perfect cog. Drake was the perfect cog of popularity, reliability, and also consistency to be able to drop a hit or something to keep the state of the hip-hop industry moving and always potentially going forward.
I agree.
In constant state of motion.
Kendrick.
The rap war literally was the wrench that got jammed into the cog, or in his culling game reference, this is the moment where Gojo Satoru gets sealed up in the prison.
I'm just saying.
And that now has shifted. That has now put an impact on the rest of the jiu-jitsu world or the music industry, because Gojo Drake was that constant piece where it's just like it's always in the same set motion, to where we expect the same things to happen around the same time every year. In the middle, around usually April, May, we usually get that first early Drake summer banger into the Drake summer project. By mid-October, he's teasing something again because October is his birthday month. Also, mainly the main flagship person who's going to draw something to start the third into the fourth quarter of the music industry. And Kendrick is what's, oh my God, I'm blanking his name.
It was like Ghetto.
Ghetto. No, yeah.
I don't know.
And Kendrick is Ghetto because he basically just like, nah, we're going to put a wrench in that and we're going to stop the normal state of flow. Because like Adam said, now we have a chance where it's just like, now we have the smaller sorcerers or the smaller artists. Not really smaller, but the ones that usually wouldn't get this time of the year to shine, because this is Drake, because this is Drake's reserved block.
Yep. And he's not there to take up his space.
Because peep this too, and to add to what you just said, remember during the rap war, what was the one song that was still top on the charts even with the rap war going on? Do y'all remember?
I don't.
Think about it.
It
Big
was
hit.
Get it sexy?
I would say like that.
No,
it
that was by a small artist at the time. He had that one song that people kept trying to say.
I'm blanking right now. I'm actually blanking.
I ain't never represent, baby.
Okay.
$1 Million Baby.
Wow.
$1 Million
Baby was still charting very well.
It
even
was.
in the middle of the rap war.
Yeah.
It was like they got all this shit on the side here.
Meanwhile, Tommy Richmond going crazy.
Yeah.
But what I was getting to with that is how, since it kind of erupted everything and kind of shifted how it moved, not to, ride the goat.
He about to blaze.
But
yeah, make sure you got your knee pads on.
Kendrick, hey, okay. In the song,
insane.
Watch the Party Die.
Yeah.
It's a prime example of what I think he's seen the industry was doing early on from what we're seeing the effect of, which is the party of everybody making drug music or songs that come and go.
Oh, Thomas.
There you go, right on cue.
Give
it up for Thomas.
But before our boy Thomas came in here,
Man,
I think just like the watching the party die, even like listening to the song, he's kind of going through how we're about to see a shift and a change in the industry because these niggas don't know what to do now. Yep. Everybody was following Drake's lead because what did Drake say on his previous song? I'm the tastemaker for the shit they making. So if the tastemaker's not there to make the taste or to drive the sound or create a new flow for the people, they just kind of fall to the wayside.
I also think that depends on the generation that you're specifically speaking of. Because
I think Drake's the anomaly in all of that because, like he said, being Gojo, it don't matter who you put him up against. He's still making the taste for the industry right now.
Yes, but hear me out, right? So, obviously, like I said earlier, there's a difference between hip-hop and rap, right?
Facts.
There are a lot of hip-hop artists, in my opinion, that are not following Drake. Well, actually, correction. There are a lot of hip-hop artists that are following Drake. There are a lot of rap artists that are following one of... He used to be so cool, one of the coolest SoundCloud rappers of all time, Playboy Cardi. I feel like this era
he's still cool, bro. He's so mysterious.
Yes.
But I still think even the Cardi still stems from taking influence from Drake.
I would not agree. I feel like this is how the tree works in my mind, right? So I'm gonna take y'all back to 2011. You feel me? We got obviously you got Drake, but then we hear a song Racks on Racks on Racks. You feel me? With YC, all that shit. Nobody on God's green earth sounded like Future on that song. Future, in my mind, stemmed in the Young Thug when he came out with Stoner. Therefore, hear me out. Thug, therefore, was topping the charts for a little minute. Then we get the Playboy
But
Cardi.
what made niggas comfortable? Real quick, I'm gonna let you continue your web, but niggas wouldn't have even started singing in a melodic flow for real until Drake came along doing that shit, making it cool.
Fair, but 21 Savage is on record saying we play more Future in Atlanta than we do Drake, which again leads me to my point, right? So you got Atlanta Future, you have Atlanta Thug, then you have Atlanta Gunna and Lil Baby. Obviously, Playboy Cardi, who also spent a majority of his time in Atlanta.
So he from Atlanta?
New York. Yeah, exactly. And then slowly but surely, that starts spreading out. Even with the Uzi, you know.
Actually, you're right. Because those 2016 artists, they took less influence from Drake and actually were their own stand-up.
That's what I'm saying. And
pillars.
a lot of that, that's what I'm saying. We got to make the difference between hip-hop and rap. And that's the point. That's why I say at some point, it splits into a generation. Yes, Jacob.
I don't disregard anything that you said because everything that you said is correct. But I think that leans more into just... which artists are directing influence from which other artists, as opposed to where I think Adam's original point of this conversation stems more is just there at the time there was quite literally no other artist that could move the market that is hip hop rap as a whole than Drake.
Yeah.
Drake was
do it on
that's
both
the thing, and
sides,
that's why
rap.
I like the comparison of JJK to this because quite literally, Drake was the cog that pushed the machine for the machine to continue to even pump out these new sounds and these new artists. And I think to me, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that you're incorrect, but I think this conversation more so stems in terms of like those great artists that were able to move the machine that is hip hop and R&B as a whole in one go, as opposed to just seeing the different sounds that stem from it. Again, I think you're correct because. Honestly, that tree was perfectly laid out, but I think Drake was just the main. We haven't seen somebody push the machine quite like Drake did, because Drake quite literally did this from 2009 up until now.
He really had the shit on his back.
I could say Drake can drop the most average Drake song, and they would still eat it up as if
they
it was
would.
the greatest.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the most average Drake song?
God's Plan, which is his biggest hit.
God's Plan. What did I miss? I could argue.
God's Plan is kind of.
Like I said,
it's his biggest song to date.
It's a hit. I can't deny that it's a hit. But was I blown away by the song? No.
You can see that the effort for him trying to make a good rap song was not there. He was making a hip hop song.
Exactly.
He was making a hit.
Right.
That's
making a hit for sure.
But the thing is, a hit can also still breach those realms, breach those categories.
But I think he's choosing intentionally to now endorse or push for going towards the hip hop side as opposed to rap side. And I think that's where the Drake fan discourse comes in, because it's like we want him to stick to his rap roots and actually show us like what got us fans of you. Now you're going to the side that it's not to say that you're making bad music, but we know what you're capable of in this field, and you're choosing to do the opposite.
I'm gonna say something, bro. Drake gotta grow up.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part that comes with the rap war as well.
That's cool. You can be hip and actually be a 40-year-old person, bro. At some point, you have to realize these things are past your time.
Come on, bro. Fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit, bro.
Which, honestly, that's the best song on the album, if you ask me personally.
It was crazy.
Because some sexy songs for you came out. Y'all acting like Drake's still gone.
I would say, honestly, I was re-listening to a couple of old songs, like from Nothing Was the Same in like the later years, probably before Scorpion and into Scorpion song. I never really listened too deep to the fact of like Drake openly admits that he's just that guy who's probably gonna die alone, and like just be that guy who's gonna be the guy who's gonna get the party lit, but's never internally happy. And I'm like,
wants to be 70 and alone.
He was talking about his mom,
know what you want
but yeah,
love anymore.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah,
because it's like his like, what do you? He's living life basically in a character.
I had a question.
Being Drake, because you're the biggest artist in the world. When do you have time to be Aubrey when you're Drake?
He could be Aubrey if he really wanted to, but that's another story for another
But
day.
he don't want to be.
That's also another story. But that also goes in a deeper conversation that I don't really want to get into right now. But go ahead.
Actually, Adam saying this kind of led into a question that I did have. Do you think, and because I think this ability of Drake was a superpower for him, but also his kryptonite.
Them superpowers getting neutralized. I can only watch in silence.
Yeah, I just went back
and that is, do y'all think,
my bad,
or y'all can just give y'all opinion to the question or comment of, do you think that it was because Drake had the ability to become a chameleon and transform his style and sound to fit whatever demographic or whatever style he wanted to at the time? Do you think that hurts him in the long run, because now when we get to this point in his career, he's kind of struggling to find a sense of identity or originality for himself?
Yeah. I think it was good for the career of being the biggest artist, but as you just said, it kind of removes him from who he is. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, what I was just saying, with him not knowing who Drake and Aubrey is potentially, because again, we don't know the man, but what you're showing us in the music is all you care about is making these hits and deciding the taste and deciding the music for the industry, as opposed to showing us who you are. So I think that's how I feel about that.
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's like on one end, I feel like, I know how Kendrick got on his ass about like you run to Atlanta when you need a check balance, but like he did put on a lot of people though. I can't lie, like his influence or his features didn't help other people. But him being a visitor also made certain fans or people look at him as like, okay, are you doing this for the culture, or are you just a visitor? You just taking the sound and then running with it? Like, yeah, you may help make it popular, but at the same time...
Now, I will say, I don't think he's a visitor, because I will say Drake overly pays homage to when he helps someone and they give him the respect that he gave them. I will say that because I think Drake does a great job of actually trying to help uplift the people that he does help, but he's not going to carry you. But I think that was like something from the battle that people kind of try to misconstrue, like he doesn't actually help these people he's bringing up with him.
I mean, the OVO sweatshop do exist.
The OVO sweatshop do exist, but it's the reason Party's still staying there in his bed cozy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But,
it's the reason them people that's over there, they happy.
Yeah, they cool.
To answer Jacob's question, though, I feel like it's a matter of versatility versus culture vulture, right? Because I think versatility, especially as somebody who is an older, quote unquote, OG to a lot of these people coming up. A lot of us are in this age. No, literally,
He's 40.
He is about to be 40 this year. But it's like, wow, we grew up listening to Drake and he's giving me a chance. So I want to make sure I show up in every way I can. And he is now like, okay, I'm not doing the same thing no more. Let me adapt with the times, right? And I think that is a point of versatility, right? Because he can still hop on a certain song and still do his thing, but still adjust to like the younger crowd. The problem comes into play where it feels like he's doing that all the time now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, prime example, right?
Trying to hop on rage beats we eat and shit. And like, dog, you're almost
and it was 40. Like, cool, I guess. But again, so prime example, right? On I Am Greater Than I Was by 21 Savage. 21 Savage got Project Pat, who had not been heard of for years at that time, to get and rap on Today Was a Good Day. Mm-hmm. Project Pat was still doing Project Pat stuff. He was like, but yo, clearly you've grown up listening to me. Yeah. I'm a fan of you. Let's pay this mutual respect. Let's be versatile. Let's figure this out.
Right.
Sometimes, again, you're supposed to bring up the people that are behind you, which is why I'm not necessarily mad at Drake doing songs with Yeet. But it gets to a point, right? It's like, okay, this feels like you kind of just grabbing at the dollars because this person is relevant.
Exactly.
What happens when this person subsides in the past couple of years? You're just going to grab at the next person. And honestly, I'm glad I kind of got the mic now because I kind of want to shift the conversation because I feel like we have already been talking about Drake so much. Drake wasn't the only person in this rap world, like I said. We do have to talk about Kendrick as well. Yeah. Because if we're going to keep it two Virgils, as much as I like GNX was definitely a very much watered down, let me just get in the studio and kind of drop something type of album, right?
You call it watered down?
I think it's the opposite.
What his typical, let me hear music, think about the subject matter and everything, as compared to, he, in my opinion, he went from Kendrick to on some YG shit. Like, he really was kind of letting us know he's a Compton-ass nigga at the end of the day.
But he's always letting us know he's a Compton.
Yes, but no, this was a really show of he's a Compton-ass nigga.
But you know, they were trying to say, oh, Kendrick don't got hits. He can't make a banger album.
Shit, hey now, say now.
Come on, all about my end.
Because you notice how everything happened in the rap industry where he was not having fun and he did not enjoy the rap scene. So after that shit, he dropped his version of fun. He said, I'm going to try to make the taste. Of course, it was all LA coded.
For sure.
And he's paying homage to home.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that was his attempt of, like, fuck what y'all talking about. I'm trying to have fun now. Y'all had y'all fun doing this little bullshit all these years.
Yep. It did relatively well.
Squabble up. Squabble up.
It did.
So I think that's why he did that. But like you just mentioned with Drake, not to bring it back to Drake, but how he got on other artists' songs, he did that with I Am Music. But you notice he kind of went to the younger side, adapted the sound.
I'm little bars, then I'm getting
but I'm still Kendrick Lamar. I still have the ability, which you all know, that I can make my own work and not steal their swag, but I can hop on their swag and benefit to it. But I'm not making that my whole identity now.
You can go back to New Freezer or even like his work with Baby King. Too.
Right. Yep. He knows how to work with those younger artists and not like bite their sound to the fact of where it's mine now. Yeah. But he can also take from it because obviously he takes a lot of influence from Baby King now.
Yeah. And I think, kind of to emphasize on Malik's point, I think the thing with Kendrick that sometimes people either forget about or a lot of people just didn't realize with GNX is that Kendrick has always been unapologetically him in all of his music. In all of his music. I think GNX is just the first time for a lot of people that they saw Kendrick as him being himself. That was the most open a lot of people have seen. And a lot of these people that were like getting onto GNX and Kendrick were relatively newer fans.
I would argue some Morale and the Big Steppers.
That too. I think the difference with GNX versus Drake and how he approached everything after the Rap War beef, Kendrick stayed 10 toes in, I don't care who you think you are, I know who I am and I know what music I drop. And this music is going to resonate with you whether you want to or not. As opposed to Drake tried to double down into the younger generation or the crowd that has always felt the most safe, which is always trying to be the large majority or the vast majority. Facts. And unfortunately, in this case, the vast majority, which is your normal safe space, is Kendrick coded right now. And your normal safe space is not your normal safe space. You can't do the things you normally are used to doing and watching that shit work.
He said
you are in new territory that you have never navigated before in your tenure as a career. And now we're watching you in real time fumble and make mistakes, and you're trying to recover from those mistakes by being loud, boisterous, or doing things that we just haven't seen you do in a long time or ever, Drake. Whereas Kendrick kept to himself the entire way through, but still was like, fuck you, I don't care.
So I think, like, to add to that, I feel like regardless of how people feel about Drake, whether they like him or hate him, I still think Drake will still be Drake. Drake will pop out with Iceman, and it will still go crazy. Hell, he only need one.
He only need one.
Remember, he only need one. He is Mr. Do Right and Kill Everything.
Come on, man. That's the acronym, bro. He only need one. And for the sexy song for you, that was Nokia. that was the top single off that album.
It was.
So I'm just saying, whether you like it or not, that was that one. You only need that one. So what I'm getting at with this is, Drake, in my opinion, I wish he would have took that break on his own versus Kendrick kind of forcing him to do so. Like, that way, the narrative would have been a little bit different. It would have just been Drake just chilling, which he was planning to take a break after he got done touring, which Kendrick saw that as the right opportunity. I mean, he just doing what Drake did to Meek Mill when they battle rap.
Yeah.
Slight hot take. Slight hot take.
What's up?
I think Iceman will probably leave the rap community unsatisfied, even if he does have that one hit that goes. Off the strength of not even just the beef, but again, the state that the rap war caused this era to be in, unless Drake's doing something that's either new or culture shifting on Iceman, it's not going to be enough for the hip-hop industry to resume, like press play. Because that wasn't a pause button. That was a, let's restart this shit.
Yeah, no,
that
was
was
the reset button.
They definitely put a new tape in.
He definitely hit the reset button.
Thank you, Jacob.
They put a new tape in.
They put a new tape in. Same shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, honestly, not hot take. Iceman is going to be Drake's make or break at this point.
Oh, 100%.
If this album flops, as much as I hate to say it, we're going to look at him and you be like, damn, bro, you really used to be the man. Damn, homie. At high school, you was the man, homie. The fuck happened to you?
Now, hold on. I got
I can't say that.
If Drake, even if Iceman is not good, that doesn't mean he fell off.
He gonna Clay Thompson his way through it.
And what is Klay Thompson doing right now? Well, yes, but Klay Thompson is also injured.
But I'm saying, what does he say anytime anyone has a criticism for him? I got 4 rings. Drake gonna do the same thing. I'm Drake.
Yeah,
I'm Drake.
They still got the staying power.
And that's why
his fan base is still
fan base is solid. But also, you kind of, to me, this is the thing that people sometimes I feel like tend to forget. I think a lot of people really just got burnt out on the amount of hip-hop related releases that came out in regards of the rap war. And I think part of the reason why we don't see hip-hop charting the way that it used to is because this is also a dead space for a lot of the fan base to kind of go back to figure out what kind of music that they like. So I think that's why we see different genres like country coming back up or pop metal coming back up. Alternative music is getting waves again. I think we're just seeing people being able to go back and just be like, okay, now that hip hop isn't the forefront of my attention all the time, because that's the thing with Drake. Because Drake was that cog piece, hip hop was always at the forefront no matter what. And Drake somehow would always be tied back to that. We don't have that anymore. So now it's just an open field for people to be like, well, let me go listen to this, or let me go listen to that, or Drake's not dropping. Who else is dropping? Let me go see who else is dropping. And sometimes a lot of these people that are getting the views and plays that the majority of Drake fan base might be in in other genres. That's why you see the spread of music genres kind of even out. That's just my opinion.
So I actually had a question for y'all that kind of roots in this. So do y'all think that more so the taste of music is changing, or is it like us, the fans, that are changing? Because, for example, like we said earlier, there's a lot of great projects that have came out, and they're very listenable, they're replayable, but are we still getting those same value out of them? Because like you mentioned earlier, if you wanted to go into the point you were talking about before we started recording.
I'm about to get into that. So, to reference what he's referencing is, I was going to ask the question of, do we feel like hip-hop albums still have that same staying power as they used to? Like, we talk about A Life of Pablo and how much of an impact that made, and even the album came out in February, people still talking about the album in like November of that year,
right?
Or like even moving forward or not. So to answer your question, and it kind of correlates the same, I think it's both, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the fans, because one, the fans have grown up compared to what they've been used to listening to when they were younger to where they are now, especially the younger or the Gen Z, whatever you want to call it, generation. So they have grown up to a point where, not saying they're grown, but people music taste does change over time. It's not, some people may not want to hear you talk about the same subject matter, and I feel like for certain artists, not even just to Drake, was getting comfortable in that same subject matter. So when Kendrick hit that reset button, he made it to where like, yo, like, y'all, there's other artists that are doing great stuff that y'all could really tap into or get more of a listen ears to than y'all want to. Now, I also blame the music side because the industry and streaming got people fried. And what I mean by that is people's attention spans are so short. And it's crazy because, like, we see these certain artists and we put them on a pedestal, woo, woo. But when you think about it and you take a step back, you're like, yo, like, Kendrick really, like, because of the events of the rap war, you got people praising the clips. These guys are almost 50, bro. And people praise Let God Sort Them Out. And a lot of people was like, oh, older artists can't really pop the same way like they used to. Look, and they went crazy. They didn't hit number one because of Jack Boys. However, Let God Sort Them Out, I feel like had a bigger impact than Jack Boys 2 did.
For sure.
You know, that's just an example. But even with that, there are certain albums I can think of where I'm like, even now, let me start with this. I saw a tweet where somebody was like, damn, it's crazy how Casino just like came and went, or like, damn, it's crazy how like y'all was going crazy over the fall off and whoop whoop, and now that shit gone. And I'm like, dog, it's only been like a month.
My
month
G is also still in rotation very heavily.
And it makes me question the fans and the listeners, and sometimes how the music is being made. Like, how are y'all digesting the music?
Right.
Or do y'all choose to stick with an album and let it, like, marinate longer? Or y'all the type that just wanted to enjoy it for the moment? Or you just want to say you was here for the time?
I was going to say, which I'm glad Tyler, the Creator, addressed this 2 years ago, or whenever Columbia dropped out. Bro, we got to start dropping albums on Mondays and early games.
Tuesdays.
Y'all remember?
I agree.
I said, y'all remember when we was kids? Everything came out on Tuesdays, right? Because you had time to hear it, listen, and marinate on it, instead of just actually just hearing it on the weekend and just be like, oh, da da da.
Everybody rushing to have an opinion.
That's what I'm saying.
That's another part of it,
bro. With those time frames and everything, you actually really get to sit down and digest the album instead of it being just a weekend turn up and you going off about your day. So that's how I feel.
And depending on your weekend, you might not even have time to listen to the album.
Right.
Like, we go out our way to listen to certain people, but like, even Cole said it in one of his interviews, like, yo, if you were able to stay up on Thursday night and hear my whole album, I commend you, because I would have went to bed too. Because that album was an hour and 40 minutes. So it was almost 2 in the morning if you press play at 12.
Yep.
On the Thursday night going to Friday, people still got work.
It's also like weird to see like what exactly do people want from music nowadays?
That's a good question.
Do you want a message? Do you want to learn something? Do you want to hear a perspective? Do you want to get turned? Do you want to whatever?
I think that goes into my earlier point of there's a difference between hip hop and rap and everything having its own lanes, right? We are now in the time frame of so many different lanes. You can find a lane for whatever you are thinking of, right?
Yeah.
There is turn up music. There is message music. There is just sit back and chill music. So whatever you as a consumer are interested in, and I feel like a lot of people want to ride on what they think everybody else is listening to.
The TikTok
which is why, which is why he's lost his path for individuality, which is what the artists or the music industry is trying to consume, because they, at the end of the day, everything is about making money, right?
Yeah.
And if they see that people are gravitating toward this quote unquote TikTok music or this quote unquote genre of music, that's what they're gonna push more. So
yeah, I agree, but in that same breath, I think that's why also Drake being who he was made it easy for it made it easy for the industry to push it out, because of the fact that he had such a versatility and range that he could give you a little bit of everything. And that's why it's like for a lot of people, and that's what it is. A lot of people now that they want convenience. They want a one-stop shop for everything, whether it's food, entertainment, or clothing, whatever it may be. And at the time, for the majority of his career, Drake was that one-stop shop for a lot of people.
It was McDonald's.
He was McDonald's. He gave you a little bit of everything that you wanted. You can feel satisfied, but yet not so satisfied to where you couldn't come back for more shortly after. And that's why I reference Drake as the cog, because Drake could give you this at this point, then Drake could give you a whole new sound 3 months later. Oh, you want something different? Guess what? We'll give you something different half a year later. Another 3 months, we'll give you something completely brand new, but similar to the first thing that we gave you. I think Drake because Drake had that ability to be whatever you wanted them to be. I think that's what made it convenient, and that's why I think a lot of people, the vast majority of people that did listen to music, when you came to late asking, what kind of sound do you want to hear? They can't answer that question because whatever sound they wanted to hear was probably something similar to a Drake a bit.
Do you know what's crazy in the music industry? It's kind of like the trendsetter kind of became the trend to be the trendsetter.
Yeah.
It's that amazing. So, like, for example,
Drake making Tootsie Slide.
niggas try to come out and, like, start a new wave, and they try to put their stamp on it. But instead of, like, people attaching to that sound, someone else will try to come out with something else. Oh, I started this trend, to kind of staple themselves. And I think Drake is actually becoming more of the trend follower as opposed to the trendsetter that he was in a point.
He did that with Dark Lane Demos. Yeah.
I mean, that was just throwaway stuff.
It was a throwaway, but we didn't need that song with what's that war song at the end of Dark Lane Demos? Yeah, we didn't need that. I never thought him and Cardi would have hopped on a song. Pain 1993 is cool, but it's like, okay.
It's Rex a little ID, ain't no Rex. So for some closing thoughts, I'm gonna ask y'all. So do y'all think, it don't have to be Drake related or not, but do y'all think hip hop will make its way back to being this chart-topping force that it was a few years ago?
Yes, but it's just gonna have to take the right artist or the right impact or the right song to be so. And I think the only people who have the power to do that, I was gonna say the big three, but not to diss your man's album or anything.
It's not like that album.
Right. It's not. It didn't come from him. So now we're looking at it do 100%. But it's now we're looking at Drake and Kendrick to do something that's going to restart the car, as you say. That's going to keep that machine moving. And it's like we're as fans in an unsettling spot to see if we're even going to get that anymore, because like I said when we spoke in our other pod, we have to cherish the times we're in now, because we may never see another hip-hop game how he's seen it.
Yeah, because right now, like, I would even argue two people it could have been doing. One, Travis hasn't really dropped like a hit in a long while. Two, if Kanye wasn't canceled, it just said I feel like he would have had that one.
I know about this album. Even on this album, though, it was kind of.
It's so
I said it had to be for this album.
Right.
To answer your question, no. I think hip hop being the same chart-topping, dominating force that it once was, it won't happen again. I think the.
You think it was just a wave? You thought it was
I don't think it's I don't think it's a wave. I treat this more of kind of like, in comparison to how this state of the NFL is right now, hip hop can still chart the very top of the leaderboards, but they won't have the same consistent month in, month out dynasties like they used to have. I think now we're getting into a system where it's whoever's going to be the hottest, whoever's going to be able to be the hottest at the time, they'll occupy the chart for a little bit, but then there's going to be quickly somebody else, another competitor, to come in and bump them out. And then the same thing, so we'll back and forth. Kind of in the same way where we haven't really seen a repeat NFL champion to create a dynasty, kind of like how the old Steelers teams were or the old Patriots teams. I think that was the prime of hip hop. And but now we're in a state where it's just now, because we don't have those juggernauts to kind of hold the reins of hip hop and rap as a whole, like how it was just simply Drake, Kendrick, Cole. We don't have that anymore. It's literally whoever's got it, go for it. You can hold it. If you can get the crown, go ahead and grab the crown. Can't guarantee you won't hold it for that long, but you won't be able to get a chance to do it. And then somebody might come through and bump you off. You won't get your chance to do it, and then somebody else will come back. I think we're getting more of that now.
So
as opposed to having a long war, it's just like we see this one album or this one song go for 6+ months on the top of the charts.
Yeah.
Nah. Maybe at most 2 months here, 2 months here, 3 months if it's like I said, I would say it's like a real hit or on the real,
By the whole time.
something like that.
I'm about to say quick thing, but that's the end of my tip. I would just go say something simple before you get to yours. History does repeat itself, because he did mention that the prime of hip hop. That's the prime of hip hop for us. But if you ask someone who came up in the '90s,
It's also true.
Their prime of hip hop is probably before the 2000s era, because that's kind of when
everybody
say hip hop was kind of
that's very
right.
tough.
I think, but what was you saying?
I was just gonna say I agree with your take. I would just more say instead of it being the NFL, more so the NBA, right? So, and the reason that I say that is because a lot of the times, basketball is genuinely and truly a game of runs. With the NFL, it's more methodic, it's more thought about, it's more strategic.
That's right. I'll give you that.
Which is that would be the equivalent to an artist being like, okay, we're gonna drop this album at this time. This is the message I'm gonna convey. Sometimes in the NBA, do I have the hot hand or not? We gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Same thing with rap, right? Do I have the hot hand? And again, I know I made this reference before. Prime example with the baby. The baby had the hot hand in 2019. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just get whatever I can out of this." And he's got, and exactly,
that thing.
He slowly but surely started to come back into the forefront, right? And again, I wouldn't necessarily put him in the hip hop category per se. I'll more so put him in the rap category, right? But I mean, and that's just my opinion because again, I've seen him where he can actually convey really thought out messages and whatnot. But he know that's not gonna get him a bad and
Right.
top that thing, you time to the side.
So I agree with you. I just think with the point of music that we are at right now, while yes, there is a clear difference between hip hop and R&B, I think for a lot of people in the masses, that line is gonna be because it's gonna be forever blurred.
Yeah.
There's just gonna the hip hop chart. You can find a pure rap charting album to look at. It might not happen right now, but there's the potential for it. In the same way where I just feel like I feel like hip yes, hip hop and R&B are separated, but I think they're forever blended with the way that music is moving down. That's all.
Actually, that's a good discussion, man. And I was just rambling on the fact, like, we don't have the like you said, like it's kind of more of a anything goes free form kind of vibe, because we still don't know. Like we had our generation at the Cold Church. With the new gen, I'm like, who do y'all have? And I'm like, X Pass, Juice WRLD Pass. If they were still alive, I feel like what the hell would have been.
Yeah, that one of them would be up there for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
To some degree, Travis is there, but like you said, it's just not consistent enough.
Travis at first he was.
Travis is also not a good rapper, right?
Yeah.
He just made bangers.
But we talking about just hits though.
I think well, again, I don't listen to Stevie, but I feel like there hasn't been a staple piece like that means something to the industry that would consider themselves a new part of the big three, because you have the underground rappers or the younger people said, oh, Uzi's part of the big three, but that being big three is not what we mean by big three.
Yeah.
We mean someone who impacts the industry and can shift the whole industry if they do things how they so see fit.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're gonna see another one of those until, I hope like a Baby King can get to that status. But it's just like not enough artists are either putting in the work to get to that point,
Or the industry not pushing them.
or the industry's not pushing them to get to that room.
That's what I said.
But all it really takes to me is that one song that take it through there.
Yeah.
So go. And with that being said, do y'all have any other final thoughts before we wrap?
I just think after saying everything is done, looking at it, hip hop and rap as a whole, in terms of like being able to be that chart topping force that it used to be, they're still licking their wounds from this rap beef. They're still looking at their wounds and they're still trying to figure out. They're literally trying to make the best. They're making the best of what they got, but they haven't found like you said, they haven't found the staple piece to be able to go like, let's try and push Drake out of here and put you in. You just may have content.
And it's funny because they would never put Kendrick in that spot because
He doesn't want to.
he doesn't care. Yeah, he doesn't care. He cares about being a real person. Y'all see him at Disneyland with his family.
I did have a real wholesome time.
Everybody was talking about Coachella, this nigga at Disneyland with his family.
But that's what I believe. At the end of the day,
The day is gone. Then
Talk to him now.
just like that, that has been another great discussion by the fellow brothers. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hype the video, and let us know your thoughts. Do you feel like, Iceland is going to be the good comeback? Do you think hip hop would chart again? We want to hear from y'all too. The conversation continues. And with that being said, it's been
As always.
support.
Protect your peace.
Always.
We're gonna be out.
Rock in.
peace.
Peace.